Shabbat Shalom, L'chaim, L'chaim. This week's Torah portion is Noach. Obviously, it's to do with the flood and the recreation of a new world. And then at the end of the Torah portion, the Tower of Babel. And it goes into a long explanation of Noah and his sons, and there's an episode with him and his children. And there are many themes in this week's Torah portion. One is, obviously Kibud Av V'Em, because Shem and Yafet were given, they're given gifts because they honored their father, whereas Ham did not. Or Canaan, his son, did not, but he was punished for his son, or in that sense. Anyways, what I wanted to focus on was, earlier this week, I went with some friends to this planetarium here in Netanya. It's called Planetanya, great name. And we were learning all about the, sun, the stars, the moon, and everything, and the planets, and it was a very, very cool experience. And I thought, I should speak about that for my Dvar Torah. The only issue is that it probably would have been better last week when, the world was being created. But then I read something in this week's Torah portion where it says that during the days of the flood, all the celestial beings were held in place, and night and day was indistinguishable. It was all as though everything held in the balance as the world was being wiped clean and recreated. And what it made me think of was that when we were at this planetarium, they said one of the theories for, life was that at the Big Bang, all these different bodies, asteroids and comets, whatever, they all came and banged into each other and formed this Earth. And from that arose a single-celled organism that, began to divide and create more and more and more and more. And it created fish, and those, evolved into apes, which evolved into humans, etc., evolution. And what I thought was so incredible is that we have an accounting that's not so far away from that, where we say that in the beginning there was tohu and bohu, disorder and chaos. And if you think about it, all these comets or meteors flying around and hitting each other in an abyss of darkness is exactly tohu bohu. It's, chaos and disorder. And then life arises. And there's light and, being and everything. And what it made me think of is that during this time, during the flood, when there's a recreation of the world, in the first book, in Bereshit, it talks about how let us create man in our image. And one explanation of the us is all of creation, all of the world and everything. And I was thinking about how everything like that really does come to create a person or create a situation. If you think about when you're in a room, if you're in a room that's completely white and there's nothing else there, there's nothing going on, They actually make those rooms for like the clinically insane, a safe room or something like that. But the more color you put into this room and the more decor, and nice style, and then you put people into this, the room, then there's a whole new energy that starts to evolve. And it can, change and become new and constantly growing and evolving. And that's what I see here with this recreation of the world. The sun, the moon, and the stars were frozen in place to symbolize this idea that everything's hanging in the balance. We're not creating right now. We're just waiting. We're just at a standstill. And then everything will start moving again and creation will start happening. And so if I could think of any lesson to draw from this, I would think that when we walk into situations, take note of all these little things that create the atmosphere. If you need to change something, change it. And you can be an active member in the creation story that's unfolding in this room or in this situation. And we should all recognize the amount of power that we have when we walk into these situations. How much energy that we can inject by just having a calm demeanor, And I would hope that we'd all be matzliach in this aspect of our avodah. To represent HaShem, walking around in an office with a yarmulke and a beard already sends a message that this is a godly place, that even I'm willing to walk here. God is willing to come here. And we should all hold ourselves to that standard. So Zrat Hashem, we should all merit to be matzliach in this way and to see a world that's injected with the atmosphere and the intentions of Mashiach and elevated awareness. Shabbat Shalom.